Hello, bonjour. I am Michel Labrecque. I'm a collaborator to PANM 360, the eclectic music site. And for the first time in my career with Panam 360, I'm going to interview a colleague, which is actually a collaborator as well to the site, but he's also a musician. He has his own group, and this group, which is called King Lobster Krew, released recently a new album called Molt. And we're going to talk with Vita about this new album and his style and everything. Hello, Vita.
Hi, how's it going?
Great, great, great. So, tell us maybe a little more about your own story. You were born in Fredericton, New Brunswick. You grew up there from Salvadorian parents, and you eventually migrated to Montreal. Tell us a little bit your story before we talk about your music.
Yep, definitely. So yeah, I did grow up in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and yep, I only moved to Montreal at the age of 18 to pursue my studies in music, and so grew up most of my life in Fredericton and in the Maritimes, and would have mostly spoken English growing up. French at school. I was in like the immersion program, and obviously Spanish at home. So actually, yeah, having the opportunity to sort of speak three languages growing up affected my musical career, my music now. So that was really cool. And yeah, that's 18 years in New Brunswick before I came here, and I've been here for around 10 years, give or
Yeah.
take.
And you studied at McGill University
I
in
did.
music as a jazz drumming and composition. So I suppose that as well influenced a lot your musical career.
Enormously. Only because obviously, it's one thing to play music growing up, but when I went to school, the techniques, the meat and potatoes of how to do things, how to write, how to play, I learned a lot in a short amount of time when I was doing my studies. So everything that has to do with actually arranging, writing for a small ensemble. Everything that I know in that department comes directly from my studies at McGill in jazz.
Mhm. And after your studies, so you created this group, King Lobster Krew. So Molt, your new album, is the second one. The first one was called basically King Lobster Krew Deluxe, and in between there was a live album. But so how what did you want to do with this group and its title, King Lobster Crew? Tells a bit about it.
So the King Lobster Crew I started while I was still in my studies, and it started off as a bit like a started off as like a surf rock band. We didn't have a name for it at the time, but we had decided that we were going to become sort of a surf rock band and play all these 60s songs and do a lot of covers of these old songs. And then
Including the Beach
eventually
Boys.
actually, we went a little simpler because the Beach Boys sometimes they want four different harmonies and everybody's singing at the
Yeah,
same time, and, and yeah, so we weren't that ambitious, but we were playing things like "Walk Don't Run" or all of the songs that you would know from Pulp Fiction. Uh, anyway, eventually, what ended up happening is we kind of decided that as we were gonna write more original music, the surf rock became only one element among a few. So we started adding more jazz, we started adding more Latin music, and we kept the surf rock a little bit. And then with Molt, it was sort of the accumulation of all these years of kind of finding our sound into something that basically sounds like if surf rock, jazz, and Latin music had some kind of a baby. And you'll find that if you listen to Molt, it really has all of these elements.
Should we add a little ska or it's
Yes, yeah,
Mhm.
for sure. I guess the thesis, if you want, of King Lobster Crew is it's nautical, it's oceany, but it's also a bit like what if you played every kind of beach music that existed? So there's so many beaches all over the world that in some areas a beach music could be ska. In other places, it could be samba. In some places, it could be cumbia. In some places, it could be salsa. And of course, in some places, it's surf rock. So if the thesis of the band itself is to play beach music, then what that looks like can change from place to place. And if you put it all together, you get what we sound like.
Yeah, yeah. And in that new album, Molt, you have several in the title of the pieces. You have several jazz elements, like Monk's Beach is one of them. And the other one, my favorite things, is clearly a theme by John Coltrane. So I've my feeling was between the first and this one, it's becoming more jazzy though.
I embraced it more this time around. So when we released the first one, it was much more of a marriage between just different kinds of rock and different kinds of Latin music. And I think this time around, I embraced, my music school days a lot more. I decided that I was gonna use more saxophones. I was gonna use more of the arranging tricks that I learned in school to really incorporate this third element, which is a lot of bebop, a lot of kind of dissonant, Thelonious Monk moments into what I was doing in a way that I think in the first album I didn't. And maybe it was because, while I was in the middle of it, maybe I wanted to use it less. It kind of maybe felt to me as more of something that I was studying and not really something I had internalized yet. But this time around, I added it in, and I think it kind of made for a very interesting mix of all three elements.
Yeah, it's actually quite interesting. And still, it is as well danceable music. It is festive, as we would say in French. And I have to add that some songs or some pieces aren't purely instrumental, but you also sing. You also sing in
Yes,
English, Spanish, and Francais as well. So
yep,
it's a kind of a mix. And I think that's the distinction maybe that I feel that you still want to make a sort of danceable music, but as well using sophisticated arrangement.
right. Yeah, I mean,
That's the
definitely.
way I see it.
Yeah,
I hear it, actually.
you're right. Every time that I kind of add sort of the Latin American influence, and there's so many different kinds of music in Latin America, but a lot of genres and subgenres prioritize, or it's very important that they are danceable, because if you're playing in a club, you need people to dance for quite a long time. So the music needs to have a groove. It needs to be kind of long enough for people to dance to it. They can't dance for 2 minutes and then the song stops, for example. So every time I've added that sort of Latin American influence, I've always made sure that it's a Latin American influence that prioritizes, for example, being danceable. And not all styles of Latin American music obviously prioritize this, but so many of the ones that I like do. So cumbia, salsa, samba. There's so many kinds that you know uh, feel they prioritize this danceability, and that's a sort of jovial aspect that I'm hoping to add into my music as well.
So King Lobster Krew is gonna stay that in a way. It might evolve in the future, but
It might evolve in the future. I'm not really decided what I want it to sound and look like, in the years to come. But for the moment, I'm getting a lot of mileage out of this sort of three-piece fusion, which is rock, jazz, and Latin music. And I think that if you're going to play live, this is kind of a winning combo. Like the fact that you can have these very sort of bebop jazzy moments with burning solos and things like this. The fact that you can have moments of just pure dancing, pure groove, and moments of really rocking out, like banging your head.
yeah,
I'm for the moment I'm getting a lot of mileage out of these three
yeah.
elements.
I think you described very well what we feel when we listen to Molt. Actually, we feel all of this.
Thank you.
And how important was the fact that you now live in Montreal into the creation of your music?
I think it was really important. And I've said actually during the album launch, I addressed the audience and I told them, you know, I don't think my music would sound anything close to this if I had moved to any other city for my studies. Because here in Montreal, we live in close proximity. Like there are Spanish speaking communities, francophone communities, and anglophone communities in the city that are all living pretty close together. The festivals that happen every year, you know, highlight so many different kinds of music and you know Spanish speaking world music, francophonie, for example, you know, francophone music, and there's so much anglophone music that comes out of here too, especially in the indie rock scene. That I don't think I would have landed on this particular marriage of styles if I hadn't come here specifically. I'm sure it would have sounded like something else entirely if I hadn't come to Montreal.
So you're pure Montrealais, Montreal
In a
boy.
way, in a way, yeah.
Well, you've become that. Obviously, you didn't grow up here. Uh, do we have the chance? Will we have the chance eventually to see you performing on stage in
Yep,
the near
yep, yep.
future?
So we've actually just confirmed the type of residence at La Petite Marche on Saint Denis Street. Starting September 2nd, we're going to play every first Tuesday of the month, and we might increase some of the dates if things go well. If you know, if there's more demand for it, but for now, once a month, we kind of settled that's like a good frequency for us. But yeah, you'll have the chance to see us the first Tuesday of September, which is September 2nd, the first Tuesday of October, the first Tuesday of November, and December. So you'll get a chance to see us then. It'll be a bit different because we have settled on a quartet formation, and the synthesizer is going to replace the two saxophones from the
Ah,
album. So it'll be a bit different, but it will be just as good. It'll sound great. It's my buddy Emmanuel that's doing it, and we've given him a guitar to use. So it'll be nice to see him, you know, move and do his thing on a guitar. It has a lot of stage presence.
oh, great. So we'll see you there, hopefully. And well, I remember to our audience the name of the album. It's Molt by King Lobster Krew. And we were talking to its founder, Vitta Morales. Great to talk to you and see you soon, hopefully, on the stage or just talking about music. It'll be great.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Michel.
Bye bye.